Welcome into the Sporting News Studios. Tom Voort alongside Matt Crossman talking about baseball, a sport that seems hard to understand when you think about win above replacement and OPS plus, but then you get to the home run, Matt, and everything seems so simple till we read the Sporting News cover story of the July 4th issue.
Yeah, I guess it's simple depending on your point of view. It's simple to understand, not so simple to do.
Well, talk about some of these guys. You talked to Jose Bautista about hitting home runs, because a lot of them said they hit them when they weren't trying to.
Yeah, most of the time, a home run, I wouldn't say it's an accident, but it's not an intentional thing either. That they're trying to, the concentration is to put a good swing on the ball and get a good pitch on which to put that swing, not so much a home run swing.
So are home run hitters born, or are they made? Combination of the two?
They are both. They are both. That there are certain skills, strong hands, quick wrists, instincts that you're just born with. But then there's also learning, and Jay Bruce talked about this, learning what pitches to swing at, what pitches not to swing at, what you can do, what you can't do. That's what separates the good from the great, once you realize that and apply it.
So in terms of pitch selection, that really involves becoming a better hitter, a more disciplined hitter over the course of your career.
Yeah, I had an interesting conversation with the hitting coach at the Yankees about this. We were talking about Robinson Cano, and he had forced Cano a couple of years ago to not swing until he got 2 strikes called on him in spring training.
Right.
And Cano would come back to the dugout and say, man, those are some good pitches to hit that they're calling balls. And like you can just imagine that there was a pause, and then the light went off in Cano's head. Maybe they're being called balls because they're actually not good pitches to hit.
Or there are better pitches out there to hit.
Yeah, and it's laying off those pitches that it's just an amazing skill. I was watching Miguel Cabrera bat yesterday against the Dodgers, and you can tell by his body language when he's going to swing, and he decides it's almost instantaneous, but, I mean, the man doesn't swing at very many balls out of the strike zone. It's just an amazing ability.
Well, there's also the at-bat and the structure of the at-bat and the guy you're facing. You know, Ted Williams, in his famous book, The Science of Hitting, had a chapter called Guess Yes, and what that really meant was, you know, understand the situation, understand a pitch that you should be looking for and a location.
Yeah, Bautista talked about that specifically without, I don't think he quoted Ted Williams, but he made the same point that if I have a 2-0 count, I have a much better idea of what's coming. I can, you know, quote unquote guess, and I'm going to be right a lot more than I'm going to be wrong, as opposed to, you know, an 0-0 count where you're not as sure. But, you know, get yourself into a hitter's count and your chances go up exponentially.
Now, are hitters trying to dictate the at-bat? I mean, you know, pitchers are trying to dictate the at-bat. Get strike one, set the guy up, throw the pitches they want to throw, work on a guy's weakness. To what extent can a hitter and a home run hitter dictate the at-bat? Well,
he can only do that after he, I think, ascends to a certain level. I mean, I don't think the 9th hitter, you know, as a rookie is going to do that. But a guy like Bautista, yeah, that, you know, the pitchers are approaching him differently, and he, you know, kind of, Pujols definitely intimidates pitchers into, you know, pitching around him, and eventually they either give in or walk him.
Right. Now, who you spoke about Pujols. Who are the guys that you think and some of the other guys you talk to think are the best guys in the game today as far as hitting the long ball?
Well, definitely it's got to be Bautista. I mean, he's miles ahead of everybody. Pujols, Tommy, although he's a little bit on the back end of his career. Ryan Howard certainly is up there. You know, all the names.
Surprising name that came from Yogi Berra was Curtis Granderson.
Yeah, Curtis does not look like a home run hitter, but you know, you talk to him and you look at him and his arms look like they're made out of rope. I mean, he could break a tree in half. He's strong. And
it's interesting too when you think about golfers who hit the ball a long way. They're not always huge guys. Nope. You know, it's leverage, it's timing, it's all those athletic things.
Yeah, and I think there's a great analogy, and Bautista made it, that in golf, if you try to crush the ball, you're not gonna. You know, the right swing in golf is smooth and easy and consistent, and it's the same thing in baseball. Bautista talked about this a lot, that if I go up to try to hit a home run, he gets tense and kind of goes like that. But if he has a nice fluid swing, it's quicker, it's snappier, and he makes better contact.
Right, eventually you just get more bat speed that way.
Oh, and that's the key with him, is he just whips it.
Now, of course, the other thing about the home run is sort of the home run in the memory. The home runs you remember from growing up as a kid, watching games, and baseball, the way it builds to situations over the course of the game and over the course of a season. What are your favorite home run memories, or some of the memories guys brought up as you went to write this article?
Well, my favorite would be Kirk Gibson's second home run in Game 5 of the 1984 World Series, but that's because I'm from Detroit. You know, I was a little surprised of the 15 or 20 guys that I asked that question. I'm not sure that there really was a clear winner. I frankly, if you're talking about the scope of baseball history, I don't see how it can't be Bill Mazeroski in 1960.
Yeah, that one didn't come up, I noticed.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Series-winning home run against the Yankees.
It's the only Game 7 walk-off home run in the history of baseball against the Yankees, and
Didn't make the cut.
Didn't make the cut.
People mentioned Joe Carter, of course,
Yeah,
which is another World Series walk-off.
Yep.
Bobby Thompson, the Giants win the pennant. The Giants win the pennant. Carlton Fisk waving the thing fair.
Yeah.
And of course, Kirk Gibson.
Yeah, that one interests me too, because if you watch that, it's actually an excellent pitch by Eckersley that he goes down and gets. Now,
it doesn't even look like much of a home run swing.
No, and I think that's a good example of having 2 strikes and just trying to put the bat head on the ball and get things
next
happening.
thing you know, it's over the fence.
Yep.
And you're a winner in Game 1 of the World Series. And you go on to win the series too, right?
Yep, and I was in California one time years ago on a golf outing, and there was a top 10 sports moments in California history, and that was number 1.
Now, one more question before I let you go. We're coming off what people think of as a steroid era.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 73 home runs by Barry Bonds. We look at it differently now. So how does that impact today's view of the home run?
I think it depends on whether you believe that the steroid era is in fact over.
Right.
And there is still, I think most people would probably think the game's a lot cleaner than it was, and whether
we're certainly not seeing as many homers.
Right. Whether it's completely clean, how are we ever going to know that?
Right.
You know, some guys that we talk to are still sort of soured on it, and they'd rather just not give credit to what guys are doing now. Others, you know, it seems more legitimate now.
So how do you feel about the home run today? I mean, is there a renaissance of the home run? Are we potentially entering another golden age here?
I'm not sure if golden age is the way I would put it. I would say it's something we can celebrate again and not quite feel like we're watching a fraud anymore.